Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Karuna teaching the course Digital Signal Processing. In this video, we are concentrating on DSP processors. A digital signal processor is a microprocessor designed specifically for digital signal processing in real-time computing. These processors contain special architecture and instruction set to execute computation with the help of DSP algorithms more efficiently. There are two types of digital signal processors. Those are general purpose digital signal processors, special purpose digital signal processors. General purpose digital signal processors, which are high speed microprocessors with architecture and instruction sets for optimized DSP operations. Again, these general purpose DSPs are two types: fixed point process, floating point process. Under fixed point process, Texas Instruments developed the following process. Those are TMS 320C5X, TMS 320C54X. X అంటే 0 కానీ 1 కానీ 2 కానీ ఏదో ఒక వాల్యూ పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, మోటరోలా డిఎస్పి 563X. Coming to the floating point process, Texas Instruments developed the following process. Those are TMS 320C4X, TMS 320C67XX, and also analog devices ADSP 21XXX. These are the general purpose DSPs. Coming to the special purpose DSPs, it consists of hardware designed for specific DSP algorithms such as fast Fourier transform, pulse code modulation, and filtering. Okay, so examples for this special purpose DSPs are MT93001. This is used for channel telephony voice echo canceller, and PDSP 165158. This type of processor is used to perform fast Fourier transform. And next, UPDSP 16256, which is used to implement FAR filters. Let us see what are the factors we have to consider while selecting the DSP process according to our application. Okay, architectural features, execution speed, type of arithmetic operations, and the length of the word. Coming to the applications of the programmable DSPs are DSPs or the digital signal process are used in communication systems, audio signal processing, control and data acquisition, biometric information processing, and processing of image or video, etc. Let us see the advantages of DSP processor over conventional microprocessors. The architecture of DSP processors supports fast processing of arrays. The DSP process requires single clock cycle to execute instructions. మనకి మైక్రోప్రాసెసర్లో ఒక ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయడానికి 3 మెషిన్ సైకిల్స్ కావాలి కదా. సో అంటే బేస్డ్ అపాన్ ది ఆపరేటింగ్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ క్లాక్ సైకిల్స్ ఆర్ defined. Okay, so the DSP process support parallel execution of instructions, means pipelining. The DSP process have separate data and program memories. You know the difference between one Neumann and Harvard architecture. Okay, Harvard architecture we have different memories, data and program memories. DSP process supports simultaneous fetching of multiple operands. The DSP process have 3 separate computational units. Those are arithmetic logic unit, multiplier and accumulator, as well as shifter. The DSP processor consists of powerful interrupt structure and timers. The DSP process have multi-processing ability, means it consists multi-process, means more number of arithmetic logic units or functional units. Last one, the DSP process have on-chip program memory and data memory like microcontroller. Okay, these are the advantages of DSP process over conventional microprocess. Next, coming to the multiplier and multiplier accumulator. We have already seen DSP processor consists multiplier, accumulator, shifters. Okay, so the most common operations required in digital signal processing applications are array multiplications. మనం ఫాస్ట్ ఫోరియర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్లో చూసాం కదా, డిఎస్పి ప్రాసెస్ ఆర్ యూజ్డ్ టు పర్ఫార్మ్ మోర్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మల్టిప్లికేషన్స్ అండ్ ఎడిషన్స్. ఎక్కువగా డిఎస్పి ప్రాసెస్ యూస్ చేసి కొరిలేషన్ ఆఫ్ ద టూ సిగ్నల్స్, కన్వల్యూషన్ ఆఫ్ టూ సిగ్నల్స్ చేస్తాం. ఓకే, లెట్ us see the DSP processor used to perform the convolution operation. See, this is the implementation of the convolver with a single multiplier or adder is shown in figure. Okay, this is the figure. You know the convolution formula, y of n equal to summation of x of k h of n minus k, or we can say summation of h of k x of n minus k. Okay, anyway, in case of convolution we have to multiply the two signals and add the products. Okay, what are the two signals? This is the input signal x of n, and this is the array of impulse responses. Okay, h0, h1, h2 and so on. These are the input data xn, xn minus 1, xn minus 2, దీనికంటే ముందు xn plus 1, xn plus 2, like that. This is the product register. Okay, after multiplying, the product will be stored in product register. Then that sum, that result will be added to the next product. Okay, likewise convolution is performed. This is the architecture of the convolver. Okay, in case of DSP processors, let us see the important requirements of these array multipliers is that they have to process the signals in real time. The array multiplication should be completed before the next sample of the input signal arrives at the input to the array. It requires multiplication as well as accumulation. After multiplication, the output will be accumulated to the accumulator. That's what here we are using, accumulation, to be carried out using hardware elements. So to perform these operations, multiplications as well as accumulation, there are two approaches. First one is dedicated MAC, multiply and accumulate unit, may be implemented in hardware, which integrates multiplier as well as accumulator in a single hardware unit. Such type of DSP processor is Motorola DSP5600X. The another approach is to have separate multiplier and accumulator. The example for this, TID SP320C5X. Okay, this second approach, the output of the multiplier is stored into the product register and the content of the product register is added to the accumulator register in the central arithmetic logic unit. Okay, so in this two approaches, the multiply and accumulate operation can be completed in one clock cycle. Okay, so these are the features about multiplier and accumulator. Let us see how it will be multiplied two signals from the figure. ఇది ఫిగర్, ఈ ఫిగర్లో ఇన్పుట్ సిగ్నల్ x of n and out impulse response h. Okay, array of h. Okay, so from this figure, the array corresponding the present and the past m minus 1 samples of the input is given by x of n is equal to xn, xn minus 1, xn minus 2 and so on. Another array corresponding to the impulse response of the sequence is given by h. Okay, this is another array, impulse response array. So here see how the output sample is obtained. So the output sample is y of n. Output sample y of n is obtained by multiplying the array x of n with the array h. To obtain yn plus 1, the input signal array x of n plus 1 is multiplied with the array h. Okay, likewise, the vector xn plus 1 is obtained by shifting the array xn towards right, so that n plus 1th sample of the input data you will get. Okay, next, after multiplying, the content of the product register is added to the accumulator before the new product is stored. Later, that will be stored in some memory location pointed by DMA, direct memory access, is copied to the next location whose address is DMA plus 1. మనం మైక్రోప్రాసెసర్లో SI అంటాం కదా, DI, destination index. Likewise, DMA is acted. Modified bus structure and memory access schemes in digital signal process. MACD instruction means multiply accumulate operation with data move. It requires 4 memory accesses per instruction cycle. This instruction requires the 4 memory accesses per clock period. Let us see what are the 4 memory accesses. First, మీకు ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఏదైనా ఆపరేషన్ పర్ఫామ్ చేయాలంటే ఫస్ట్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ని ఫెచ్ చేయాలి, ఆపరెంట్ని ఫెచ్ చేయాలి, 2 ఆపరెంట్స్ని ఫెచ్ చేయాలి, తర్వాత ఆపరేషన్ పర్ఫామ్ చేయాలి, తర్వాత అవుట్పుట్ని సేవ్ చేయాలి. అదే కదా సిఏఓలో నేర్చుకున్నాం, మైక్రోప్రాసెసర్లో కూడా నేర్చుకుంటాం. ఓకే, సో లెట్ us see the steps. First, processor needs to fetch the instruction from the program memory. Program nothing but set of instructions. సో ప్రోగ్రామ్లో ఏముంటాయి, ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో ప్రాసెసర్ నీడ్స్ టు ఫెచ్ ద ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఫ్రమ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ మెమరీ. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్? మల్టిప్లై అక్యుములేటర్ విత్ డేటా మూవ్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్. నెక్స్ట్, ఫెచ్ 1 ఆపరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్ మెమరీ, ఫెచ్ ద సెకండ్ ఆపరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డేటా మెమరీ. ఇక్కడ ఫస్ట్ ఆపరెంట్ ఈజ్ స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ మెమరీ. సి హియర్ ద స్టాటిక్ ఇంపల్స్ రెస్పాన్స్ కోఎఫిషియెంట్స్ ఆర్ స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్ మెమరీ. ఇంపల్స్ కోఎఫిషియెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, అవన్నీ కూడా ప్రోగ్రామ్ మెమరీలో సేవ్ అవుతాయి ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ డిఎస్పి ప్రాసెస్. ఓకే, ద ఇన్పుట్ డేటా ఆర్ స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ద డేటా మెమరీ. ఓకే, ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎన్ ఈస్ ద ఇన్పుట్ డేటా. ఓకే, likewise we have to fetch these 2 coefficients from program memory and data memory. Write the content of the data memory with address DMA into the location with the address DMA plus 1. After performing the operation, output data will be stored in memory location pointed by DMA first one. Next output will be stored in memory location by incrementing DMA by 1. Okay. Next, let us see the one Neumann architecture. It is already మనం CAOలో చదివాం. This is the architecture of the one Neumann computer. Okay, which is developed by one Neumann or John in 1946, which consists processing unit, control unit, data and program memory. It is widely used in microprocessors, which consists of 3 buses. మీకు తెలుసు already: data bus, address bus and control bus. This is the control bus. Okay, in this architecture, CPU can be either reading an instruction or reading or writing data from or to memory. Both cannot occur at the same time since the instruction and data use the same signal pathways and memory. Okay, సింగిల్ మెమరీ కాబట్టి ఏదో ఒక్కసారి ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ని కానీ డేటాని కానీ తెచ్చుకోగలం. ఓకే, సో ద ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ఆఫ్ ఈచ్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ రిక్వైర్స్ 4 clock cycles because there is a single address bus and there is a single data bus for accessing program as well as memory. ఓకే, ఒకే బస్ ఉండడం వల్ల ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ సింగిల్ అడ్రస్ బస్, సింగిల్ డేటా బస్, it takes time. Okay, due to single address bus, single data bus. That's what we'll go for Harvard architecture. So in this case, number of clock cycles required for the memory access can be reduced by using more than one bus for both address and data. In case of previous architecture, one Neumann architecture having one address bus and one data bus. Here 2 address bus. See here, this is address bus from control unit to memory, program memory, and this is another address bus from control unit to data memory. Okay, because here two memories are present in case of Harvard architecture, data memory and program memory. Separate memories are used to store data as well as program. Two separate buses can be used for the program and data memory. Hence, the content of program memory and data memory can be accessed simultaneously. Okay, the instruction code is fed from the program memory to control unit, and operand is fed to the processing unit from the data memory. Okay, simultaneously processing unit can access the data from data memory and instruction from the program memory, so that the processing time may be reduced. However, it is less flexible. Then we'll go for modified version of Harvard architecture. Programmable DSPs normally follow this kind of architecture. Okay, in this case, same processing unit, control unit, program memory, data memory. Special ఏంటంటే data can be transferred from one memory to another memory. This is the advantage in this modified Harvard architecture. DSPs ఎక్కువగా ఈ type of architecture యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాయి. So one set of bus is used to access a memory that has both program and data, and another set of bus is used to access the data alone. In this structure, data can also be transferred from one memory to another memory. I already told you. It has multiple bus system for program memory alone or for data memory alone. This multiple bus system increases complexity of CPU, but allow it to access several memory locations. సెవరల్ మెమరీ లొకేషన్స్ని ఒకేసారి యాక్సెస్ చేయగలదు, కానీ కాస్ట్ ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది, ఎక్కువ బస్సెస్ ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి. thereby increasing the data throughput between memory and CPU. Throughput means input. Okay, by using more number of buses, the number of memory accesses per clock cycle can be increased. Example for this modified Harvard structure, digital signal process using modified Harvard architecture. Those are Motorola DSP 5600X, DSP 96002, which contains 3 separate buses and 3 memory accesses per clock cycle. ఒక్క సైకిల్లో 3 memory accesses, అంటే మెమరీ నుంచి 3 types of డేటాని ఒకేసారి ఒకే క్లాక్ సైకిల్లో యాక్సెస్ చేయగలదు. Another example, TMS 320C54X. It has 4 address buses and so has 4 memory accesses per clock cycle. Next, let us see the difference between multiple access memory and multi-ported memory. This is to increase the number of memory accesses per instruction cycle. Memory accesses ni increase cheyadam ante time for performing the operation may be reduced due to this increased memory access per instruction cycle. ఒక సైకిల్లోనే 4-5 ఒక సైకిల్లోని 2 డేటాని ఒక ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ని ఎట్ ఏ టైం యాక్సెస్ చేస్తే స్పీడ్ అనేది మనకి పెరుగుతుంది, యాక్సెసింగ్ టైం అనేది తగ్గుతుంది. ఓకే, సో దట్స్ వాట్ దిస్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈజ్ యూజ్డ్ ఇన్ మైక్రోప్రాసెసర్. మల్టిపుల్ యాక్సెస్ మెమరీ. The number of memory accesses per clock period can be increased by using a high-speed memory. What do you mean by multiple access memory? The memory that permits more than one memory access per clock period is called multiple access memory. This multiple access memory can be achieved by using dynamic RAM and dual access RAM. This RAM may be connected to the processing unit of the programmable DSP by using the Harvard architecture. Multiple access means this type of processor can perform 4 memory accesses per clock period and achieved with dual access RAM when it is connected to a programmable DSP with 2 independent address and data buses. Coming to the multi-ported memory. With the help of this multi-ported memory also, multiple memory can be accessed per clock period. Let us see the structure of the multi-ported memory. Okay, so this is the multi-ported memory. Okay, so dual port memory, okay, which consists 2 address buses, 2 data buses, so that simultaneously can access memory. See, మెమరీ నుంచి డేటాని తీసుకొచ్చి ఎట్ ఏ టైమ్ ప్రాసెసర్ నుంచి 2 అడ్రసెస్ని సైమల్టేనియస్గా మెమరీకి పంపించవచ్చు. ఓకే, సో ద నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ memory access per clock period can also be increased by using multi-ported memory. That is nothing but dual port memory. It has 2 independent data and address buses, and hence 2 memory access can be achieved in 1 clock period. లిమిటేషన్ ఏంటంటే ఇక్కడ ఎక్కువ బస్సులు యూస్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా, కాస్ట్ మే బీ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్. ఓకే, సో ఇంక్రీజ్ ఇన్ ద కాస్ట్ డ్యూ టు ద ఇంక్రీజ్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పిన్స్ అండ్ లార్జ్ చిప్ ఏరియా required for the dual port memory. So some programmable DSP process combine the modified Harvard architecture with the dual ported memories. Example, Motorola DSP 561XX process have a single ported program memory and dual ported data memory. Hence, 1 program memory access and 2 data memory access can be achieved per clock period. Okay, like that multiple memory accesses can be done per clock period with the help of multi-ported memory also. Okay, so cost ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది కానీ స్పీడ్ ఇంప్రూవ్ అవుతుంది. సో సిస్టమ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ may be improved. Okay, so next coming to the architecture of the very long instruction word. Example for that digital signal processor TMS 320C6X. ఓకే, సో మీకు సిలబస్లోని విఎల్ఎస్ఐ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ అని ఉంది. అది విఎల్ఎస్ఐ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ కాదు, వెరీ లాంగ్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ వర్డ్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్, విచ్ కన్సిస్ట్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ బ్లాక్స్. Instruction cache means this is the program memory used to store the instructions, and these are the functional units means ALUs, unit 1, unit 2 and so on, unit n. With the help of several functional units, more number of operations can be performed simultaneously, so that speed may be improved. Okay, read write crossbar. Multi-ported register file, this is used to store the data or operands. Okay, so this is the ALU, arithmetic logic units or functional units. Okay, so these functional units read the data from the multi-ported register file and read the instruction from the instruction cache and perform the operation specified by the instruction on the data. Okay, after performing the operation, the output will be written into multi-ported register file. That's what this is read write crossbar. Read means taking the data from the multi-ported register file, and write means after performing the operation specified by an instruction, the output will be stored in multi-ported register file. That means write operation. Okay, all the activities are coordinated by the program control unit. Okay, this is the architecture of the very long instruction word. Very long means here more number of functional units ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఇక్కడ more number of instructions ని at a time read చేసి ఆపరేషన్ పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తుంది. కాబట్టి very long instruction means complex instruction which consists small instructions performed simultaneously with the help of more functional units. Why VLIW? Until 1997, most DSP processors were very similar. Specialized execution units, specialized instruction sets, and also it performed one instruction per instruction cycle. This architecture execute multiple instructions per cycle and use simple regular instruction sets. This performs more parallelism, higher performance, better compiler targets. Okay, Let us see the characteristics of VLIW process. Multiple independent instructions per cycle packed into single large instruction word or packet. These programmable DSPs have a number of processing units or data paths. Examples: arithmetic logic unit, multiply and accumulate units, shifters, etc. And also more regular, this we can say a RISC processor, which consists instructions like RISC, and this architecture is large. It contains uniform register sets and also wide program and data buses, because very long instruction kada, wide program and data buses used in this architecture. Okay, let us see the advantages of VLIW architecture. The performance of the VLIW architecture is increased, and also having better compiler targets. It is easy to program potentially, and also it is scalable. Scalable means we can add required units, blocks or hardware units, or we can delete the unwanted hardware units. Okay, next, disadvantages of VLIW architecture. It requires new kinds of programmer or compiler complexity to perform instruction scheduling and pipelines. It requires more memory usage. Okay, increased memory use, and also high power consumption. These are the disadvantages of VLIW architectures. ఓకే, సో ఎక్కువగా డిఎస్పి ప్రాసెస్లో యూస్ చేసేది VLIW ఆర్కిటెక్చర్స్. డిఎస్పి ప్రాసెస్ నంబర్ ఈజ్ TMS, Texas Instruments developed this architecture. That's what here we are using TMS. Okay, number is 320C66. Thank you. We will meet in next video.